Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem of my Blitz game number 297. I was white here, kicked off with knight f3, hoping to play the Reti opening, and my opponent played the unusual move here. Let's put on the opening book. The unusual move, let's see, d5 would be typical here. Yeah, lots of choices, of course. g6, c5, d5. Yeah, knight f6. So it looks like knight f6 is the top choice. Just responding in kind and waiting to see how white develops. In any case, my opponent played none of these moves, d5 and c5, setting up for kind of a reversed queen's pawn opening type of position. He just played e6, and a little bit of an unusual move. I guess it prepares d5, though, so he potentially can go after the center later. So I just played g3, keeping with this Reti kind of setup. And he plays another very unusual move, bishop to e7. And what's another thing that's funny about this is the engine rates this position as about even. I guess both sides have not made any claims on the center, and so the game is pretty much up for grabs at this point. In any case, we're out of the opening book at that point. So I continue with bishop g2, and he plays c6. Obviously, well, it seemed to me at the time, obviously preparing d5. And I thought, well, I'll just go into kind of a Catalan setup with pawns on d4 and c4 and the fianchettoed bishop, and use these pawns maybe to undermine c6 later. So I started out with d4, and he surprised me by playing d6. So you can see d5 is the typical move here, or the recommended move by the chess engine, and certainly what I would expect. Knight f6, also a reasonable way to play. So d6, pretty strange. So I continued with c4, and now he played knight f6. And white's advantage has slowly grown as black is allowing white to take over the center. Black castles, and I get another pawn in the center with e4. But not really a decisive advantage. He plays rook e8. At any time here, he could push on with d5 and try and stake a claim to the center, but he's declining to do that. Plays rook e8, and I castle. And yeah, now the engine is starting to like white quite a bit. We're getting into the range where it's almost a winning advantage here. But it's not obvious how you're going to break through. I mean, he's got this wall of pawns here. At some point, you're going to have to push your pawns forward, try and create some damage in his pawn structure so your pieces can come in, because these three pawns control these 5 squares. Your pieces are not able to get in there. So queen c7 was played here, and I play rook e1, preparing this e5 break. It looks like the engine thinks I could have just played e5 immediately, so maybe the preparation was not needed. But here I go ahead and push e5 at a time when it is recommended, and he plays knight f8. And right here is the first interesting point. So the engine thinks already I have a nice, well, 1.5 really is a winning edge. So it's recommending takes. I didn't see this, so new variation. I didn't play this, and he can take with either the queen or the bishop. Let's say queen takes. Then the follow-up is knight to g5. And of course he can chase this. He could also exchange it. Knight g to e4. Okay, so the idea is just rerouting the knight to look at this square, chase the queen away, and gain another tempo. Interesting, and the advantage dropped slightly, so it's not really a 1.5, but okay, and now it sees d5 as the way to break through. Still, it's not entirely clear. You're playing a lot of moves here that don't seem entirely forced. At this point, he could also have taken with the, after he takes d6, he could have taken with the bishop here. Let's see if there's a difference in this line. Just c5 immediately, bishop to g5. It's interesting, taking over this diagonal. f6, kicking the bishop. Bishop drops back to d2. b6. Yeah, setting up this wall of pawns again. Okay, so the engine just likes this position for just the advantage in space here. There's no real breakthrough. So in the absence of that. Anyway, I didn't see that taking that pawn led to a big advantage, but it does prevent. One thing I can say about it definitely is if I take that pawn, then he's never going to be playing the move d5, which is always an idea as long as that pawn is there. So, so maybe that's the idea. Just get rid of his counterplay by eliminating the possibility of him ever playing a break with d5. Okay, bishop e3, and he pushes on with b6. Once again, e takes d6 is recommended. I try knight g5. I was thinking, I need to penetrate somehow, and if he trades off, I can get a bishop here, and then my queen can come out, and might be looking good here. But he declined to trade, and instead played bishop b7. So I still want to. The other thing I'd spotted here was if he leaves a knight there, he's got a weak pawn on f7. So I was bringing my queen out to f3. It looks like queen h5 might have been a little better, but queen f3 is a good move still. f6, kicking the knight, and now just knight to b5. Knight to b5 is a cute move. Takes advantage of the pin. There's the queen and the bishop are lined up on his bishop, so if he takes the knight, I can just grab the bishop. So knight b5, queen d7, then e takes d6 again, taking that pawn. Okay, I played e takes f6 here. And he took back with the, let's see, did he take with the bishop? Yeah, he played bishop takes. And still big edge for me. And now knight to e4, good central post for the knight. And he played bishop to e7, defending his d-pawn. So rook a to d1, centralizing. I'm now thinking of pushing the move the other pawn forward to create some more damage in his pawn structure. He goes knight b d7. The engine once again thinks that d5 should be played here to prevent me from pushing my pawns, I guess. So knight b d7, and now knight back to g5 it likes. Well, the interesting. Okay, I tried d5 here, and he goes e takes. Cancel that. E takes. I took back, and then he played knight to f6. So I guess I'm keeping an advantage here, but I missed a tactic at this point. So let's see what it is. D takes c6. New variation, and he plays bishop takes. Say, seems like a logical way to play it. Then knight takes knight with check. And I'm picking up the bishop there. Okay, that's a cute tactic. Let's see if we can spot this. Yeah, so the idea is to exchange here, pull a piece onto the c6 square where it's going to be a victim of this battery of queen and bishop, and then move the knight with tempo by taking here. So after d takes c6, if he takes with the queen, it's even worse because knight takes f6, check. Yeah, well, it's about the same. I just end up a piece up. I've got 3 pieces and he's got 2. Okay, so neat tactic there I missed. I played knight g5, bringing the knight forward, still keeping an edge. And he goes rook a c8, and now knight e6, dropping it in here, threatening the queen. And I just thought this advanced post here for the knight would be good. And if he trades, which seems forced, he could move the queen, I guess. Then I thought I would get a strong pawn here, which even if it doesn't become a queen, at least it's controlling squares in black's camp and may help me in my attack. So d5 was played here finally. The move that the engine has been asking for many ages. And I was wondering if it was possible even to sacrifice a knight here, but it's well defended. He's got the bishop behind it, he's got the knight on it. So I played bishop to f4, kicking the queen. Queen drops back to d8. And now knight e2, trying to bring my knight over to the king side. And apparently knight e2 gives away the advantage. If you look at this, after knight e2, the position is now even with the move bishop to b4. So check this out, bishop b4. And now my rook needs to move. Rook goes back to f1, or I could play knight c3. But knight c3, bishop e7 is just a repetition. Knight c3 and the bishop goes back. So that's not accomplishing anything. Okay, so rook f1, and now bishop to a6. Yeah, so suddenly after after this somewhat quiet opening play with all his pieces cramped, his bishops have all of a sudden come to life, and now they've got good diagonals and targets, and this is a position that's even. So a3 to kick the bishop. Okay, but it would go on from there. So knight e2 was a mistake. What should I be thinking about here? Bishop to h3. It's an idea, putting more support for the more support for the pawn. Also the move a3 is a suggestion here, so that I could maneuver my knight around and keep the bishop out of the b4 square. So it just shows here I needed to think a little bit more about my opponent's counterplay here and prevent it before moving directly forward with my plan. I need to prepare that a little bit. But he didn't play the best move. He played bishop to d6, counterattacking my bishop. And now I just went knight to d4. It looks like exchanging is a good move here. But knight d4 is okay, keeps an edge. And now he played rook to e7, which is kind of a waste of time. And oh, this is a simple tactic I should have spotted. I should trade first here. Bishop takes, queen takes, and then knight to f5 forks the two of them. I went to f5 immediately because well, I realized this is a double attack. So maybe it's about the same. I win the exchange either way. Because the knight and the bishop are threatening to just win a piece here. And if he protects the bishop, which is the best move, bishop to b4 again, counterattacking my rook is the best try. I can grab his rook to check, and then I can save my rook by playing bishop d2. So I'd be up the exchange. So that would be winning. He played something worse here. He just moved his rook back, but that leaves this piece hanging. And not only that, but also it's threatening to win the exchange in addition to winning a piece. So my opponent resigned at this point, and that was a reasonable place to resign. It was not much going on here that he could do to save it. Not enough tricks left in the position for him to complicate things. So anyway, that's how it ended. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Leave any comments you have in the section below, and I will see you again soon. Bye.